In this video, I'm going to take you along on one of my gravel training rides, so a lot of the good gravel roads around my house. Today's Saturday, and I was going to do a gravel event called the Dirty Pecan, which is up near Tallahassee, Florida. I had a 60-mile option, an 80, 100, and 150, but I was away last Saturday at a long gravel event and just didn't want to be away from the family today and had a lot of stuff going on. So I chose to do a 78-mile gravel ride around my house. So this road right here is one that I actually use a lot during the week because it's on my lunchtime training route, one of the routes that I use. So really nice gravel. And the weather today was absolutely perfect. It was about 45 degrees when I started and ended up in the low 60s. Really low humidity. In fact, by the time I got home, the temperature was about 61, 62, and the humidity was 18%. We usually don't see humidity that low in Florida, but when we have it, I try to be outside as much as I possibly can. This is a chip seal road, and this used to be gravel, and they paved it over with chip seal. Chip seal is a little bumpy for a regular road bike, but gravel bikes do just fine. Got a nice shadow selfie going here. Coming up into the town of High Springs. High Springs is situated in a natural playground. It's kind of like our little Brevard, North Carolina. And you can immediately get on this road, which turns quickly into kind of a Jeep single track or double track road. It's a little rough, but really fun on a gravel bike. And then this is the Santa Fe River, so I'm going over it. It's about 15, 20 feet below, but the water last fall came up over the bridge when the hurricanes came through and dumped a lot of water up in North Georgia, flowed back down. I don't like this road because speeds are pretty high. It's 65 miles per hour, but I have to use it to get out to some really good gravel. You can see the flags there on the left. I fought a headwind for a lot of the first part of this ride, so I was thankful to turn off and get onto some gravel again. But it's about a 3.5 mile section of pavement that I have to do to get out to these gravel roads, but it's really worth it because this is some of my favorite gravel riding in the area. So I'm going to be coming up to a stop sign here and going left. The left-hand turn puts me on Bellamy Road. Bellamy Road was started back in 1824. It was an old wagon trail that went from Tallahassee, Florida to St. Augustine, Florida. And a lot of it is still here, and a lot of it's dirt, so it makes for some really good gravel riding, really pretty road. And we use a section of Old Bellamy Road in a gravel event coming up later in March called the Heartbreaker. JOM from Gravel Cyclist puts that one on. It's a really good event. So some of y'all who are stuck up north in colder weather, you need to come down to Florida and do some of our gravel events. We've got some really good ones. Like I said, the one last weekend in Ocala, the Big Scrub Gravel Buzz was a good one. And we've got the Dirty Pecan and the one coming up later, the Heartbreaker. So this is where things get a little bit interesting when I come upon these horses.
You trying to get your horses? You may see if I can push them towards you. You may see if I can make them go towards you. If I can get in front of them. Let me see if I can get in front of them. Back. Go back. No. Go back. Go. Let's go. Yeah. Let's go. Let's go. Come on.
So my Niner RLT9 RDO was turned into a horse herding steed. So I don't know if the guy got his horses back. I didn't stick around to find out, but that's not the first time I've seen horses loose on a gravel road. Sometimes it happens, so I was happy that I could try to help him out there. So this is, again, just a really beautiful section of gravel. I'm going to start going down a hill here. It's really hard to tell on a GoPro if you're going up or down a hill, but I am going down. So a little smooth, fast section of gravel here. And now I'm on a bike path that I have not used very often. I was only on it for maybe half a mile, but I hope to try this out in the future with some more exploring of that bike path. But it's out on a county road. So back onto more gravel. And I would say I'm about 25 miles into the gravel ride and really starting to get out away from things. And that's what I really love about gravel riding, is just getting out. Gravel riding hits so many things for me. Of course, you've got the training aspect and the endurance aspect, but it's also just getting out, really learning how to survive off of what you bring, your own food, your own water. Yeah, you can stop at a rest stop, but it's nice just kind of packing your own stuff. I mean, you're out enjoying God's creation on a bike, and exploring things on a bike is great because you're traveling at a speed where you can see a lot of things, but you're not in a car where you're just blowing past the scenery, so you can really take it in. So now I'm turning right on one of my favorite sections of gravel. It's only about 2 miles long, but it has some really smooth gravel and some really good rollers. Beautiful azaleas there on the left. It's a beautiful spring day. Our spring here in Florida obviously comes early. You can see the bright green leaves contrasted with the bright blue sky, and a lot of dogwoods and azaleas blooming at this time of year. In fact, I think it seems like our spring has come a little bit earlier this year. It was really warm a week or two ago, which I think maybe would cause the leaves and everything to bloom a little bit early. But this section is, like I said, really hard packed. Most of the surface on this gravel ride was pretty hard packed. Not a lot of sand. You'll see some sand coming up, but really nice surface. Again, some rollers on this hill going, or rollers on this road going downhill. This section of gravel has some nice ups and downs. Beautiful field on the left. I love having the shade and then some open fields there, like you can see on the left. And that's what's nice about these gravel roads around my area, is a lot of them are shaded. A lot of nice tree cover, more so than you even get out on the roads. This is a road called October Road. And I'll be coming up on a new section of gravel. So on today's ride, I did 2 new sections. And by the way, I use Ride with GPS and plan my route online, and then just hook up my Garmin to the computer and bring it in. And that's what I love about gravel road riding, is getting that exploration. And it's something that we miss in our world today oftentimes. And just being able to get out and see new things and explore is just something that I really have to do from time to time. And so coming up, you'll see a right-hand turn, and this is where I normally turn. It's not quite here yet, but it immediately goes over a creek. And so right there, that's a right-hand turn. I normally go that way when I do this route, but this straight is a road that I've never done before, and it turned out to be really nice, actually. Sign there on the right says "Watch for Children" and "Cattle Crossing." And the road actually parallels the interstate, and it was a nice surface. So I've seen this from the interstate and always wondered what it was like, so it's nice to finally ride it. And really pretty section of gravel. And then I come up here on a paved road that had a really nice bike lane with rumble strips separating the traffic from the bike lane. I don't think I've ever done this section of road before. I don't do a lot of road riding, but that was a nice one. So new section of gravel. You'll see there on a sign, and I don't know if you saw it, but it said "No through traffic." So I was a little concerned that this did not go through. Sometimes these roads will dead end, so this one did not. You'll see the wildflowers there on the left. So just a gorgeous, gorgeous day. Another sign there that says watch for children. At this point I'm getting really nervous about these children I'm being warned about. Another sign that says cattle crossing. And so I've seen the cattle there on the left there, but fortunately not these dangerous children that I've been warned about. On the right there, azaleas blooming, dogwoods on the left. So those of you who live up north and haven't had your spring hit yet, enjoy this video. More dogwoods there on the right. You'll have your time coming up north, enjoying your spring weather, but we are enjoying ours. Weather's changed a lot lately. It was really cold about 4 weeks ago, really warm last weekend, and now some beautiful spring weather. Coming over a creek, a lusty creek, coming into another county. We have a really famous road ride in late winter called the Battle of Olustee. All right, I'm about 41 miles into my ride. Stopped at a church to take a break, sitting on a bench that I don't think someone sat on for the last 20 years. At least not anyone over 150 pounds. Feels like it's about to break. Time for a little Cliff Bar break. Text the fam, let them know I'm still alive. And then we'll do the second half of the ride. Weather is spectacular. Beautiful weather today. 61 degrees and 26% humidity. We don't see humidity that low very often. But the winds are out of the northeast at 10. I've been fighting this headwind the whole ride. I am so looking forward to this tailwind coming up. I'll still have a little bit of a crosswind for some of the ride, but predominantly tailwind back home. Thank God. All right, back out on the roads, and this is a really nasty section of sand. It was only about 100 yards long, the worst sand of the whole route. Just leg zapping, but good training. And now back onto some smooth hard pack roads. You saw there that I had a hydration pack. I normally don't ride gravel with a hydration pack, but I wanted to try it because a lot of the gravel events are totally self-supported and some of them don't have rest stops. So I wanted to see what it was like to ride with a hydration pack. That was an Osprey Synchro 10 that I'm actually doing a review on. It turned out to be not a big deal at all. It's a really nice way to carry the extra clothing and food, and a really comfortable pack to wear, and holds 2.5 liters of water. I actually only used the hydration pack plus half a bottle of water because the temperatures were not very hot, so I did not need to drink a lot of water today. And this is a pretty cool looking section of gravel. It just looks different than some of that heavy tree cover gravel. Little downhill here, and then I'm going to go right on a road that had some really nice rollers. And beautiful field there on the right. So even though again you can't see it on the GoPro, this road had some nice ups and downs. Really nice section of road. And then coming over Santa Fe River back into another county. And talking again about High Springs, like I said, High Springs is situated in a very natural area with a lot of cave diving, and because we have a lot of springs here. In fact, coming up right here on the road, I had to slow down because there's water over the road. I didn't want to get real wet. There's a natural spring that flows over this road, and it's always wet. So again, a lot of springs around here. High Springs in this area is the cave diving capital of the United States. A lot of underwater crystal clear caves. I used to be into cave diving back in college. Great sport. I got out of it because it's an extremely time-consuming sport, but definitely a really fun and unique sport. In fact, the guy who I bought my first cave diving light from in college, Jared Zablonsky, owns a really nice dive shop there in High Springs that does a lot of technical gases and things like that, helium and everything. There's some motorcycles out enjoying the road today, the gravel roads. I passed about 6 of them on the road. High Springs is also situated in a place with a lot of rivers, so for canoeing and kayaking, there's some good camping around here. So, like I said before, it's kind of just our Brevard, North Carolina, situated in a really nice playground. More sand here. This is just a leg zapping section of sand. Legs are getting a little tender here. This section of road is used on our Tuesday night gravel ride. It's actually only about 2 miles from my office, so I hit it a lot on some of my lunch rides. But by the time we hit this downhill here, we're going pretty fast on our group ride. And it's right at the end of our fast section of that ride. The last section of gravel, nearing my neighborhood. This is about a mile from my house. So again, another section. I use this on my commute when I ride to work. So now I'll be turning back into the neighborhood. Total mileage was 78 miles, and the time was 4 hours and 41 minutes, and average speed was 16.6.